I'm Michelle from Michelle's Romantic Tangle, here with another Flosstube video. Things have been hectic and a lot of time has passed since my last video, more than I had hoped would pass. But things are always busy. I know everyone's life is always busy. I'm experimenting with a new corner to film in this time. There is a reason I haven't used this couch before. I have to be very careful how I sit on it. And I'll share the story of that in another video, because if I share the story of the couch, I have to share the story of the table. My grandmas are out to get me. So, since last time, I finished my crewel project. This is Coffee Antique Tin, because the designer didn't know what order adjectives in the English language go in, apparently. It's not perfect. I'm happy. It'll give me the confidence to work on some other projects I've been wanting to do. That I've showed you the crewel kits from my thrift shop hauls. I am still working happily on Little Girl's Fancy. Notice I did not say plodding or slogging this time. I've started the details of the dollhouse, and those are just a whole lot of fun. I started a couple of weeks ago. It's a Jan Lynn kit. Little Girl with Cosmos is, I believe, the name of it. And compared to Little Girl's Fancy, guys, this is going so much faster. The shading on her arm is a little bit tedious, but I took that up to Acorns and Threads for our first Thursday stitching day, and stitched and talked, and as time passed I made progress, and I got her whole arm and part of her neck done. So last time I showed you I was working on a shawl. I got through 400 yards of yarn and things went bad, and what was once the Multnomah shawl has been totally unraveled and is now the Wailea shawl, and lace gets scrunched up on the needles and it doesn't look pretty, but trust me, it's close to being pretty. And if you're wondering about the yellow there, that is a lifeline, which kind of gives you a save point so that if things go catastrophically wrong, you can unravel back to that point. My other fun project lately, I went to the thrift shop a few weeks ago, and I don't know why, but I found, what's this thing called? It is the Betty Crocker Recipe Card Library from 1971. And the categories, I was looking through it, and it has snacks around the clock, men's favorites, children's parties, crowd-sized entertaining, convenient oven meals. It just sounded fun. And I haven't cleaned up the outside yet, but inside's in really nice shape, and it was $5, and I figured once in a blue moon chance, so I bought it. Of course, I could have bought the same exact thing at a garage sale on Friday for $1, but that's okay. I've been experimenting. So we have had salmon noodles Romanoff. We have had chicken fricassee with dumplings, which is pretty darn good if you put Costco rotisserie chicken in there. We had oven porcupines. My husband thought, I don't know what he thought. He did not think oven porcupines were a thing. Then yesterday we were at an estate sale, and he opened up one of their cookbooks to the very first recipe, which was oven porcupines. And last night we had a toasty cheese bake. If you've ever thought about trying French toast with hamburger and cheese in it, don't. The boys have come up with a way that they think they can make this work, but we'll see if I get to feeling that adventurous. So on Friday, I can't remember what I was doing Friday. I was going to the laundromat, and then if I'm going into town, I always check Craigslist for estate sales, and there was one that I think it was just an estate sale on the way to the laundromat. There was nothing particularly that drew me to it, guys. Of course, as soon as I finished the video, I remember what drew me to it. I wanted to go and get a look at these ovens in person, because aren't they fantastic? I love that house. It is 10 bedrooms that go on forever and ever. And if you follow my Instagram feed, you'll have seen the picture of the bookshelf full of cookbooks. I'm having fun with my vintage recipe cards, and I bought cookbooks. I bought a couple on Friday, and I went back to this morning when everything was half off, and I bought a lot more cookbooks. And I also got, well, there's The Way to a Man's Heart, the Settlement Cookbook. I think Settlement is the name of the publisher, and maybe that's not as odd as it sounds. Remember someone was talking about these recently? I know Bendy Stitchy Michelle was. I think some other people have too. I got Seasons Remembered. I got Merry Christmas ABC. I got Timeless Ornaments. Down Santa Claus Lane. And Christmas Portraits, which it turns out I already had here at home, but I paid $1 for them, so the world won't end. And I got a Christmas tree. And I don't know if this is a jewelry box or silverware. It was $1. I'm going to keep my fancy floss in there and keep it all protected and happy. I don't know. Have you seen these McCoy wishing well planters? My mom had one when I was growing up. And it was on top of the fridge, and I think it had a plant in it at one point. I hated this thing. I never understood why anybody would want one of these. But every antique store we set foot in for a period of years and years, they always had the planter. And they always wanted good money for the planter. And so my mom's been threatening that when she passes on, the planter will be mine. And that was that. Then a few years ago, I was at an estate sale with my boys, and my youngest came and got me to drag me across the room to show me the neat thing he had found, which was a McCoy wishing well planter. He loved the thing. I'm so confused by my children. But I had the chance today to get my very own wishing well planter for $1, and I'm going to clean it up and stick a succulent in it or something. I don't know. Middle son has a new to him camera. I don't know anything about these. He doesn't know anything about these except it looks cool and it was $1, and there we go. This house, I told you it went on and on forever. And they must have had every cookbook ever published. They had dolls and dolls and dolls. There were 10 bedrooms. Half of them had dolls in them. And these were not carefully organized collectible dolls. These were busted up plastic 60s and 70s dolls and all the Barbies, but not the vintage original Barbies, the 1980s Barbies. I don't know what to make of that house. I went through the whole thing, then went back out to the car and got my oldest son to bring him in to tell him that you really have to see the inside of this place. I walked through the entire house and missed the room with the built indoor swimming pool. That's how crazy and vast this place was, and it had such a positive feeling about it. Like, these people had hobbies and passions, and it just felt like they had been really happy there. So what I did when I went back this morning, guys, I saved the stitches. There was a linen closet, and this linen closet was absolutely packed. It was at one end of a very high traffic hallway, and there were tons of people. So I did the best I could to crouch down and go through as much as I could, because there was embroidery in there, and tablecloths were $1, and miscellaneous was 25 cents. And today was half off, so miscellaneous was 12.5 cents. So I got this piece, which is blue and white cut work. It's stained, it's got issues, but for what I paid, I have visions of trying to clean it up and incorporate it into a project bag, or I don't know what. Not a doily, a little too small to be a dress or scarf. It's pretty. A felt ladies boot. Oh, upside down. There we go. I don't know what these pieces are. They're cross stitch. They have cut work. There's a match set of, I think I have 5 of them, but I don't know what they are. Why, what? If someone knows what these are, please tell me, because it doesn't seem like they should be napkins or placemats, or I don't know. I'm puzzled. I puzzle easily sometimes. And then this one is cross-stitched. It is gorgeous. It's got discoloration, it's got stains, but it had to come home, and it will be safe in my sewing room, if you can call that safe, if I'm going to cut it up and make something else. I found a couple of hand-stitched handkerchiefs. Get that up there to focus. And I found some embroidered tea towels. I'm disappointed in the stitcher. This one is Friday, where we have our sailor making a phone call. And this one is Saturday, where we have our same sailor walking down the street with his sweetie. And they're nice, they're well stitched, but she outlined the entire sailor's outfit in white. So it's like he's a ghost. I think I'll probably just use those in my kitchen, I don't know. And then another little doily. I'd seen some on Pinterest where they were using doilies for spider webs, and this might be a good candidate for that for Halloween decorations. And then if you remember my last video with my last estate sale haul and my bicentennial stuff, I am now the proud owner of a really well-made bicentennial apron. I don't know, it's fitted and it has a zipper up the side, and it may be too petite for me, but for 50 cents it had to come home. Christine at Stitch All the Things and Bendy Stitchy Michelle have been talking about self-control we're talking about, or restraint? I have had 3 fabulous estate sale hauls in a row, and I don't want to stay home, but I've got to rein in my purchases a little bit. I'm not saying no to 12.5-cent embroidery, but I have to be really selective now of what I bring home. I saved the best for last. I am baffled by this one. When I was in early elementary school, there was a book that I checked out from the school library over and over and over. And it was told how to make dolls and how to costume them in historic clothing. At the time, I thought it would be the best thing in the world to make these dolls, but of course it was way beyond my skill level. And years later, I remembered the book. My oldest son is about to scream something at us because he's awesome like that.
I wasn't going to, because I thought that would have been mean. Now you gotta point it out.
Okay.
Do you need me to leave the room?
Yes, I need you to leave the room, please.
Bye.
So when I was in early elementary school, there was a book in the school library that I checked out over and over and over. It was about how to make dolls from fabric and pipe cleaners and costume them in historical, not accurate, but historically what you think the clothing would have looked like. I could probably today, if assuming the library is still like it was back then, walk to the exact shelf it was on. And I've thought of that book a lot over the years. The big problem is I never knew the title of the book, or what the cover looked like, or any actual details I could use to track down a copy. While I was looking at cookbooks, I glanced down out of the corner of my eye, saw a book, picked it up. Guys, it's the book. It has the instructions for how to make the dolls, and it goes from prehistoric man to ancient Egyptians to Roman gladiators, and I think there are male and female characters for all of these. We have Vikings. I'm not in a hurry to try making one of these dolls, but having the book and having the possibility just has me tickled pink. Especially since I got the book for $2, and if I had known what I was looking for and gone searching for it, I'm sure it would have cost me much more than that. And I think that's all. This was more disjointed than I planned for it to be. Like I said, things have been crazy this week. I spent the whole week helping my husband get ready for new beehives. Was supposed to pick the bees up at 7 this morning, then got a call late last night that they're not ready yet. So we'll be doing the bee thing again on next Sunday, and in the meantime I got to make room in my refrigerator for 4 gallons of sugar syrup for the bees that we made last night. It's busy, and it's going to stay busy, and I will be back with another video when I can. Thank you!